At a time when there is so much wrong, when the Ofsted inspection crisis is still looming, is still hovering over us, is still menacing, I don't know quite what other images I can produce about that. It is extraordinary that today the newspapers talk about an independent review of sex education in schools to be ordered by the Prime Minister. And there is in the Daily Telegraph, for example, a photograph of Jillian Keegan, otherwise mute. Yes, with the trans debate going on, spearheaded by Scotland, I think it's well overdue that such a debate is taking place. The appalling PHSE lessons that I remember I was involved in occasionally. I used to teach religious studies, and that meant that I was often forced into doing PSE, PHSE, whatever the acronym might be. And some of that involved sex education, which seemed a very vague and undefined subject, and certainly the information was woolly and textbooks poor. I think if we are expecting schools to be taking on more and more PHSE work, then the textbooks need to be significantly more competent. Far less handouts and far more facts, far less padding and far more structure. And as for Jillian Keegan and her silence, I think this tells us more, not about sex education, but about the fact that the Prime Minister is assuming a presidential role in the run-up to the May elections, and then I think we'll see a similar presentation of the Prime Minister in the run-up to the general election, where the Prime Minister eclipses, or every minister is eclipsed by, the radiance of the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister's actions. I think Rishi Sunak possibly is a commendable icon for the Conservative Party. I don't think he's enough to win a general election, but he's certainly significantly more presentable than some of the ridiculous ministers who he has appointed. A better approach for Rishi Sunak between now and the general election would be to approach better ministers, rather than take the view that he has to take over. If he has to take over, then he's made a very bad job, a very bad judgment call on who he appointed in the first place. New appointments, and then let's see the fruits of your delegation, sir.